I'm gonna check in with you in a moment, Arissa. Before I do, I'm just gonna officially drop into you with your permission, kind of drop it in space. Are you okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. And just everyone maybe just taking a moment just to send some supportive energy Arissa's way as she's stepping into this space as the catalyst. And with all of that said, what are you here with, Arissa? What do you want to ask about?
Thank you for having me, Jamie, and thank you everybody for participating. Um, so, what I would like to ask is I suffered a very significant loss 4 years ago. I was pregnant and I was ready to have a child. And fairly into my pregnancy, about 4.5, close to 5 months in, I started to notice that something was wrong. And I miscarried, but it was on my birthday. And while I understand that things like this happen and um, there is no rhyme or reason, um, specifically for me, I would like to know what the significance was with that date or why, um, and what that means for me now. Because ever since then, around the time of my birthday, when that starts to roll around, I tend to notice that I'm calling in a lot of chaos so that I don't have to deal with
Mm.
it. I mean, even up until like right now, even up until this reading, I'm noticing, even energetically, I mean, this is not surprising to me that everything was completely fine. And then right before, and so even up until the very last second, trying
Uh-huh.
to, find out what the reason behind this is and what I
Mm-hmm.
need to learn and grab from this so that I can reconcile with it and use this experience to not be attached to such sadness and despair and angst.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just taking in everything you're saying. So I hear a few questions. They're kind of, it feels like they're wrapped around one. Is everything
Right.
okay?
Yes. Correct.
So I'm hearing one, a question around kind of what's the underlying meaning of this event, especially since it felt like what I'm hearing you say, there was like this deep synchronicity around it literally being on your birthday. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, what's the deeper meaning of this is one question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what am I meant to learn from this? What am I meant to get from this? Yeah, what's the deeper meaning? And then I hear a second question around, well, I hear you bringing in your resistance to letting it through. So what is it in me that sort of stops myself from yeah, in a way, fully knowing what this is about? What is it in me that keeps this at arm's length? So we might want to start there, since that's kind of like, if there is something in you that's keeping it at an arm's length, then yes, we could very well interpret even the interference as part of that resistance. We might want to start there. And then there's kind of a third question, perhaps. I mean, again, it's connected, it's baked into all of it, but yeah, how do I find closure?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so that all feels true and right for you?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
so why don't we start? I like to type in the question just so I can kind of keep looking at it. So let's start with, yeah, what is it in me that sort of keeps, so, pushes away knowing more. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's energy there for sure. Okay. Okay. I'm going to, as I say, drop into the question. And, usually one of two things will happen. Either I'll hear things first, in which case I'll report that, or else I'll start feeling some of the energy in you that kind of wants to move and express itself. And so if that's here, then I'll go into that. And I got my little pillow here to help me. So yeah, I'm gonna do that now. So what is it in me that pushes away knowing more about this? So it is really interesting, Arissa, and this happens a fair amount, but what I'm noticing is I can feel the whisper and the echo of, yeah, a pretty intense voice that's saying, no, like, we're not going near this. But there's a couple things happening at once. But what's interesting is, like, I feel it as a whisper. I can feel it's there and I can feel it's intense, but it's really quiet. And it's actually like when I go in, what surprised me, because I wasn't expecting this, it was almost like everything suddenly went dead. So to me, that kind of really indicates, like, yeah, there's something in you that is definitely saying, no, we're not going near this. I mean, I'm hearing the words, it's not safe. It is not safe to go near this. And I don't fucking trust you. Yeah, and I almost feel like that voice could be like to me in this moment, but it could be like to God. It's like, I don't trust. Yeah, I don't trust anyone to have my back. So you're asking me to go into this shit? And then, like, who's gonna have me, at the bottom of the pit? No, this is a setup. This is a setup I've been in my whole life. Oof, that feels, yeah. Oh, there's a lot here. I also want to say there's a lot here. So, and I see you're having feelings, so I want to check in with you in a second. But just to kind of finish the thought so I don't lose it, it's like I can feel there's so much here. It's like that almost feels like part of what shuts it down. It's like there's so much overwhelm of, there's so much that could come through, and it feels like there's so many different threads that, as you, I just feel like I don't even know where to start with this. And in the place where I feel like there's no trust, there's no safety, but also, like, I also want to say, like, I was never taught how to hold this experience of, like, being me and having all these things. And I think what's coming to me, like, being this wide open channel where things come through. So it's just like, but this feels like part of the initial stuff I was saying. It's like, no one's got my back here. So don't ask me to do this. Okay. So there's a really strong voice that wants to come through. Do you need to say anything right now, or do you want to say anything before
I just want to take a quick pause so that I can grab some Kleenex. Okay.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Place 1 second, okay? All right. Thank you.
Was there anything you wanted to say at this point, or?
No, that's all you're very spot on with that. I felt, as you were saying, that all of the things that you were saying is really tuned into my internal dialogue. Mm-hmm. That soul kind of dialogue right now, for sure.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's like there's so much sadness connected to this, because it feels like this conversation with God, and it feels like, yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I said creating space for your spiritual journey, but this really feels like a spiritual conversation of, like, I mean, I'm just hearing it's like, you motherfucker, like, you motherfucker, like, you left me down here with this shit. It's like, you left me down here with this shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's kind of almost like you're saying to your guy, it's like, you got something wrong here. Like, you didn't do this right. Like, the way that you guys usually set stuff up, like, I know you're supposed to be wise and everything, but you fucked something up here.
Wow. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
let me just stay with this because it is connected to such a deep sadness.
Mm-hmm.
And I can almost feel the place in me that it's like we could skip over that. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to, like, that's part of what it feels like you almost don't even want to know. It's like, I don't want to know how heartbroken I don't want to know how, like, how much grief is here.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no one here. Well, I'm hearing there's no one to take care of me. There's no one to take care of me. And it's like I show up and I show up and I show up, and still there is no one here to fucking take care of me. So don't play this trick on me again.
Wow.
So yeah, just, you know, and this is just a part of it. It's just like being seen, being heard.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I just really have this impulse to go slowly with you and to really sit in the place of, I don't know why this feels important, but I really want to say it because it really feels important to sit in the place where nothing has to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Other than what's happening in this moment. I don't know why that feels important to say in this moment, but yes, do you know why?
No, I mean, because of everything that you just said, like the conversation with the guides, that feeling of like, I know you know, but like, what the fuck is this? So yeah, all of that is so powerful, uh, so in tune. It's remarkable.
And it's a place of like deep aloneness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, like a solitary, isolated isolation. Yeah.
And I have something to say about that, but before I get there, what I want to say, it's like, and even that feels like a part of this. It's like, I don't want to fully let myself know how alone I felt.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, I don't want to go towards any of the, you're so interesting, Arissa, because I know you're very smart and I know you're very spiritual and I know like that's why I'm saying nothing has to happen. You do so much, right? So you work on yourself and you stretch yourself and you investigate and you do shit and you Google and there's a lot you do. But what's interesting about it in this moment is like, and still there's like, what's the language? It's like, I want to say like a certain depth, like there's just a place where I won't go in terms of all of it. Certainly what happened 4 years ago, but like the grief, because it's like, it's everything that I've already said. It's like, I don't trust you're really going to have my back on the other side. So so there's this bind here because there is this part of you that's really like wanting the deep spiritual connection, right? But bad news for you is that actually requires surrender. And there's a story based on experience, but there's a story that you've had around what it means to surrender, this is where a trick gets played on me, which I'm really interested in the energy of that for you. I mean, it's something that comes up, with a number of people, but I feel it's like, yeah, there's a setup here. It's like, I'm going to surrender, but then no one's going to have my back and I'm going to be left holding the empty bag. So then you don't want to surrender. But my feeling is it's that lack of surrender that keeps you. Yeah, you get it. So it's almost like you get so busy, it looks good, it sounds good. Mm-hmm. I'm doing all the things, and then that becomes part of the story. It's like, I'm doing all the things, and still X, Y, and Z is not happening. But, for me, what I feel this moment, but because actually probably there's not a lot for you to do. But in the place where there's not a lot for you to do, oh shit, then I'm gonna have to drop in and feel some shit. And that is what I've been like, yeah, it's like, I'll surrender. And I almost feel like part of what the voice has been is like, it's very, it actually touches me because it feels like the child. It feels so young. It feels like this little girl who's like, yeah, I'll do my part. Like, I'll put my toes in the water to see if you're going to meet me here. And then if it's safe, okay, then I'll surrender. But what the little girl doesn't get is she's not fully surrendering. So of course you're not ever, like, she's still running the show. And as long as that little girl's running the show, she's going to continue to be disappointed because that's the story she's living, right? So that's the mind fuck here in the catch-22. There's that little girl who's like, I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna do my part, but I'm doing it halfway. I'm gonna make it look good, sound good, I'm gonna be really busy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you gotta show me what I get for this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then when I don't get it, I'm pissed. And it proves this story that I've got, that like no one ever comes through for me. And then it just keeps the whole thing.
The cycle.
Yeah, so you get that, right? Well, you get what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Okay, because it's like, it's complicated. So I'm just making sure like it's clear in the way that I'm articulating it. I mean, it feels good to be saying all this, I want to say. Like it feels like just even saying it, it's kind of helping to clear something. I want to come back to the question in a moment. I want to check in with you as well. What I'm doing in this moment though, I just want to like, I don't know, I just have this impulse to really be with that little girl. You know, that little, I don't know, to me it's like 3, 4, 5-year-old Arissa.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who just, I feel like that was the first, I mean, it may have been before that, but I feel like that was the age where it maybe really set in of like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And just feeling so deeply misunderstood. And you don't have to, I mean, I'm leaving everything up to you as far as what you want to share. Do you want to share? So for people who don't know, you know, I know Arissa, I worked on your season of The Real World. I believe it's coming to me. I believe I know what you're referring to. I don't know, do you want to share anything about it or not?
I mean, yeah, you know what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you want to say in response to what I've said so far?
No, you know, you've located little Arissa, and yeah, here we are.
Okay, so let me just come back. So what is it in me that pushes away knowing more? I mean, it's like, yeah. So, I mean, I feel like we've actually answered that question. We know what it is in you that is pushing away this experience. Let me just hang out with it a little bit more, though. What is it? Yeah, it's just like, I won't. No, sir. No way. No how. Yeah, this is how I keep control. So I want to say, Arissa, like what comes to me in this moment is I guess what I want to say to you, because there feels something here about you strengthening that relationship with little Arissa, you know, and really, you know, maybe it's an overused term, but it feels like there's kind of an invitation here around reparenting. And what I want to say to you, and this feels so important, it's like when you get into that, I'm going to call it that busybody mode that does things and does a lot and is trying to like prove shit in order to like make it safe before you surrender. And this feels like such an urgent message for you. You abandoned that little girl.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I want to say you can have your own back.
Mm-hmm.
You're strong enough to have your own back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. And
yeah.
Okay.
Were you going to say something or no?
Something just clicked, but I'm going to let you to continue.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because there's something, what just came into there's a rewriting of the story around like that solitary thing, that alone thing. There's something around there that's going to need to be rewritten because it's true. There's something, and by the way, I get it. There's something very alone about your spoke of the wheel in this universe, like just even in your family system, right? It's like, I get that. You came in as this kind of, I don't even know what to call you, but definitely like not like different. And this vessel that both has like a lot of bright light and also a relationship to the darkness, but like a sacred relationship to the darkness. And then you were surrounded by all this lack of consciousness.
Yes.
And so then it's like you're completely alone. And I think there's something, I don't know if we have to do this right this moment, but it's coming in. There's something around your relationship to that aloneness. It came in when I was saying like having your own back, because there's almost something around, yes, there's a sacred aloneness to your journey that I think you've experienced. Again, I think because of experiences, like, you know, childhood patterned experiences that you've experienced as abandonment, that you've experienced as, yeah, no one's got my back, no one's here to support me, I'm all on my own, like a sort of, you know, survival thing. And that there's something around there that wants to be rewritten around, like in the place where adult Arissa can have her own back and can work with spirit to manifest what she wants and needs, if and when she's willing to just slow the fuck down and feel and understand like your relationship is with spirit, and spirit is there to guide you, and there is a sacred aloneness here. And once you can, and maybe there'll be more information that comes in around this, but once you can get aligned with that sacred aloneness, not from a place of I've been abandoned, but from a place of this is my unique spoke on the wheel, you're actually going to bring in more consistent support.
Okay.
You get that?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. What is it in me that pushes away knowing more? Yeah. Okay. I'm just seeing if there's anything more. I'm aware there's I want to just go through all three questions. So I'm just seeing if there's anything more around this specific question. What is it in me that pushes away knowing more about this experience? Yeah, and it's interesting because now when I drop in, it's shifted. And what I feel, and it's in the heart, and it's like, I mean, your little girl's very, I mean, it's very cute. She's got a flair for the drama. She's very like, she's a performer. And she's like, okay, like I'll maybe try this out, you know? And so, you know, what I want to say to you, Arissa, which is great, you know, I mean, it's like half measures in this work avails us a lot. And what I want to say is like, yeah, you get to explore. So for me, what this means is like, I want you to just start experimenting with what it might mean to just, you know, consciously create some space to just feel. And it doesn't mean you have to go all in to the full 110% depth of Pandora's box, but just to start creating, yeah, like to open the window a bit and just to see what it's like to get into deeper relationship with some of these feelings. And again, from a place of little girl, like, I'm here, you know, and you're like, there's space and safety for you to be seen and heard. And for her to have the chance to open her eyes and then say like, okay, spirits, like am I safe? You know, like, is this gonna like destroy me? Is the bottom gonna fall out from under me? Like, if I start to feel, yeah, like, does the eviction notice come? Like, oh, okay, like, and to start to just find stable ground in relationship to feeling that you, oh, this feels important, that you don't have to be in a whirlwind of chaos to be safe. It feels like that's part of how you felt. Like, okay, like, yeah. There's not safety for me to be on stable ground. If I'm on stable ground, that's where they can come and get me. And it feels connected to that experience that you're talking about. It's literally like I could get whisked away and taken.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, so let me just articulate, I mean, I want to say it's shifting. Let me just articulate the voice because I feel it so strong. It's like, yeah, I won't sit still. I won't anchor. I won't be here. Like, don't tell me I have to do that when you set it up for me to learn that that wasn't fucking safe. And, you know, part of the voice that wants to come in is just like, no, like, no, yeah, you can't take me. And also, like, there is this voice too that's looking around to the family system. I'm going back to this experience when you were 3, 4. That's like, how the fuck did you let this happen?
Yeah.
Like, how did you let this happen? How? Take care of me. I deserve to be taken care of. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm just going to say something that came in. Take it however you want. Take it with a grain of salt if you want. You know, I deal a lot with the unconscious. Do you want to hear this?
Yeah. Yeah.
I just felt the place in your family system unconsciously, if they were unconsciously scared of you being this different vessel, yeah, that unconsciously they would let that happen. I am also hearing the words forgive me. So just breathe. Is there anything that you need to say, or what's happening? Does it validate something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of it.
Good, good. Good, so let that happen. Because that, again, that's sort of a big part of the work, is just validating your experience. And you have a right to your experience, and that's how we reclaim and rewrite it. Yeah, you weren't crazy. And that's what I'm saying, you can trust yourself. Yeah, you got a lot of messages around that, right? Like, yeah, you can't trust yourself, you're crazy. So yeah, how can you even trust that you could take care of yourself?
I just wanted to thank you for bringing this up and out. I'm really, it's really eye-opening for me. Something that I feel like I knew on a subconscious level, because, you know, there was this just immediate, like, yes, like, I feel seen, you get it.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what has come up.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so part of what I'm hearing for you as you say that too, Arissa, is like, oh shoot, there was one other thing. Okay, it'll come back to me. One of the things I was gonna say was, yeah, you know what's going on. And like I said before, you can trust yourself. And then what I sort of heard for you was, and actually you're trusting yourself it almost feels quiet to me. Like you don't have to scream it from the rafters. And I have this feeling almost like part of the doing. Oh, that's what it was. So I was feeling the place where you were sort of given messages like you're crazy, you don't know what you're talking about. And so then it was almost like in you, it's like, I got to prove something, justify something, be heard. And what I'm feeling for you now is a doorway of like, you don't ever have to worry about being heard again because you can trust yourself. And in that place, again, there's nothing to prove and no one to convince. And so to me, this feels connected to the energy of the woman who does. And don't get me wrong, I know you have a mission. I know you have things you want to share. So I'm not saying don't share that stuff. But what I am saying is I think there's a refinement that can start coming in this place where we're going to support you to start doing less, because that's what heals inner Arissa, that young child. I want you to start paying attention to that refinement of like, where am I connected to my quiet inner knowing that doesn't need to say much and just trusts and believes and acts and speaks when it's right, versus when am I convincing, pushing, doing, screaming from the rooftop. I mean, that's my imagery, but you know, do you get what I'm saying? Yeah, so I really, there's something about like, I feel like you're gonna have a time of really going inward and yeah, cultivating that inner knowing, that inner trust, that inner quiet. And then as soon as I said that, oh my God, I got all this amazing imagery. It just feels like there's so much for you there. You know, and again, developing that inner trust. So it's like, yeah, I got my own back. I don't have to worry about being abandoned because I'm not abandoning myself. And in the place where I don't abandon myself, God can never abandon me. And I know you get this because no matter what the fuck happens, the spiritual journey is I trust.
Right.
You've not been wanting to trust because of the story around abandonment. But if you can heal that image, which I think is happening now, right? I think that's what's happening here. Yeah, then there is no abandonment. Yeah. Okay. So let me just clear out whatever. There's just something else that, yeah, okay. So I'm hearing the voice. It's like, yes, yes. And then the voice that just says, I've got things to say. I'm powerful. Yeah, okay. Okay, I hear you. I've got things to say. I've got things to do. I know things. I'm powerful. But it's true, Arissa. It's like when you care about other people hearing it, seeing it, knowing it, I'm just telling you, you abandon yourself there. This is inward. And that's what I'm saying about the aloneness. There's a sacred aloneness here.
Okay. Yeah.
This is about you and you alone. And there's stuff there. So I want to come back to the second question. So I think this is the last thing I'll say for now, but it's like, you know, I feel, you know, part of what's been coming through for me is like this, I just kind of hear like light in the dark, light in the dark, light in the dark. And there is this relationship to, and I don't know even what I mean by this, and maybe it'll make sense to you, but it's like, I want to say like the darker realms, you know, and it's almost like, you know, I don't know your actual heritage, you know, I know that you're half Black, but it's like, to me, and I know you'll be okay with this, but I want to be clear that this feels specific to you because it feels like this is sort of politically incorrect, but it feels like African. It feels like voodoo. It feels like, I want to say like black magic, you know, like it's like, it feels like you watch Buffy, right? You remember like that spirit guide that like came through her that like, you know, in her dreams and said, death is your gift. Like it has that quality to me of like, there's something for you to know there. And why am I saying this? Why did this come up? It came up when I kind of held you being inward with your own process. And it's like, yeah, I've got things to say. It's like, there's a journey for you to go on with the light and the dark. And yeah, but it's not coming from pushing, exerting, planning, trying to get the thing that's going to give you the money that's going to do that. It's like, it's not coming from any of that. it is coming from what you've been avoiding, which is like the miscarriage, aka all the feelings, the loss. That's where it's coming from. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, it's time. I mean, again, we're doing it, but it's time to like create some space.
Right.
The more you go inward, the more of that strength you're going to discover, because that woman's strong. That black magic woman's strong. So the more you know her, the more you're going to feel safe. And it's like, no one can fuck with me here. Yeah. I'm good. Then it becomes like, spirit, throw whatever the fuck you want to throw at me. Like, I'm good. I got this. That's, yeah, that's what she says. Okay, so that all makes sense to you, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I love that you got it. It's like, okay. Okay, okay. So I know there's sort of a question in all of this around like, what is the deeper meaning? I don't know. When I ask about like, what's the deeper, I guess, let me type it in. What's the deeper miscarriage? Again, it was on your birthday. I just heard the word rebirth, actually. Okay, so what is the deeper, rebirth. How old were you when this happened?
So 4 years ago, I was 39.
Okay. Okay, what is it? I don't know, I just heard something about like, it makes me curious about what else has happened in your female lineage at ages 39 for other women in your family. I don't know if you know anything about that. You might want to ask about that. I just heard that. I just noticed like when I drop into this question, like there's something, I mean, you see it in my jaw, there's something in my heart. Let me just see what this wants to say. Like, I'm just hearing the words, no, 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 no. What is this? Is this just still resistance to going into this? No. I won't. I'm not sure. I won't go into this. I won't feel this. I won't know this. What is this? I mean, it's weird. I'm seeing that woman again, the kind of medicine woman.
Wow. That's just, I'm sorry, but literally as you were saying that, I just dropped in myself and wow. Okay. Holy shit. Because she's right here. Like I literally was just connecting to her as you said that. That's why I'm like, holy shit. Like this is definitely like in my maternal bloodline. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything more you want to say about that, or is that what you wanted to?
Yeah, that's just.
So, okay, this is what I'm hearing, Arissa. I'm hearing the word sacrifice. I'm hearing the words blood sacrifice. Does that mean something to you?
Yes.
Okay.
But that's because I recently looked up the gematria of my name and the word blood sacrifice was in that, like randomly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know, right? That's why I'm like, whoa.
Okay, so here we go. So what I am feeling for you, yeah, this felt kind of like a rite of passage. It just felt like an announcement of exactly what's happening right now, of like this aspect, this woman sort of coming through. And yeah, it's in it's in the blood, it's in the dirt, it's in the bones, it's this is real shit, you know, and it feels like a ceremony got initiated. And the reason I said, here we go, it's like when I dropped into it for you, do you need a second?
No, go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, it's kind of like what I feel for you is a ceremony got initiated and a ceremony like might want to be completed, you know, and there's, yeah, something here around like if you trust what happened. And it's interesting, Arissa, because I keep kind of like, I'm almost hearing the word, not like in a negative way, but I'm hearing the word like gruesome, because it's gruesome, right? A miscarriage, it's like it is in the blood, it's a fetus, it's flesh. This is flesh and bone. This is real shit. That's why I was saying, here we fucking go. You know, it's like, this isn't, I mean, you know, I love Reiki, but this isn't like Reiki. This isn't like light and love. This is like black magic voodoo shit. And yeah, so it's like, I'm kind of hearing like, sacred process, she's here, and you've you've been resisting me in a certain way. I get it, because it's kind of scary, and also here it is, and there's a relationship that really wants to be cultivated with I'm hearing this woman, but this lineage, this tradition. And again, I can feel the sadness there, because there is an aloneness with this walk, because it's very, you know, it's provocative, it's, you know, yeah, you get it. And almost a part of you that, like I said, it's like, I'm kind of scared by this kind of, but what I'm hearing for you, Arissa, is you can have both. It's like, you can have both this wild shit, and you can also still have the girl who's on the real world. You know what I mean? You can have the woman who lives in this world. So don't think it means you have to like become, you know, yeah, you get it. No, but I am hearing that for you. It's like possible to, yeah, you can dance and walk with the energy. And I'm hearing actually like that's kind of part of what the gig is for you. It is to marry these worlds.
Okay. I was about to say the coexistence.
Yeah. But there's something very what was I going to say? There's something very, like I said, but your relationship to this woman feels private. I mean, it's interesting that we're doing this, right? But it feels private, it feels inward, it feels for you. And yeah, the birthday, like I said, it just feels like rebirth. But I'm hearing re-fucking birth. It's funny because it's like, I actually feel the connection, because it's like, there's the little girl who is kind of like, what the fuck? You know, and then there's this woman who's like, re-fucking birth. It's like, you know, look, you've got a strong point of view. You know, it's colorful. So, and I just want to say, Arissa, it's for you, it's for you, it's for you, it's for you. So I think what I mean by that is just, again, I know you really do have an impulse to help others. And I think that's great, as long as it's still for you. And I just really want you, and this still connects to the thing of like not doing too much. It's like, I really want you your energy and your experience got co-opted so early. This is your time, you know what I mean, for you to claim your magic, for you to create what you want for you. And you get to do that. And if it works for you to help others, great. But like, I don't know, I just want to say to you, don't get it. I mean, she's sort of saying, don't get it twisted. It's like, this isn't about like you going out and like being the one, you know, like being an Oprah, like who the fuck cares? Like, this is about, there's something healing, there's something that's going to be very healing for you in the lineage, for you reconnecting to this. And I'm just hearing like, this is your time for you. You could go off in a Castaway, like the movie Castaway.
Yeah.
And you're good karmically. Like, you don't know anybody anything.
Okay.
I don't think that's what your spirit truly wants to do, like for the rest of your life, but like you could. So I just, again, so I think this is also still making sense of when I said it feels so important to say, we don't have to do a lot. Like, you've done enough. And you get to really think about Arissa right now. And everything is just for you and that little girl. And that's it.
Yeah. My goal is to be on an island living in a treehouse, you know, with like my wolves and, you know, various exotic animals I was able to tame. So this is very on brand for what I've seen for my future.
Right. And I think part of that too, like, I think there's been a part that's been a defense, right? Like, that's the part that's kind of running away. But I think you were on target in the sense that there was a flavor of truth to it. And this is where the integration can come in, where it's like, you're not going to the treehouse to not be grounded here on Earth because you're scared of getting whisked away. It's like, no, I'm connecting to this embodied woman.
There you go.
I'm here. I got myself. I'm not running from the depth of my experience. I'm in the blood sacrifice. I'm feeling my feelings. And from this place, sometimes I go to my treehouse because that's what I need and want to do. Peace out. See you when I see you.
Exactly that. Like exactly. Before it was a misguided, I'm going to, you know, run away and like leave everything behind. But now it feels like I have finally connected to what I'm supposed to connect to. And I've created a safe space here where I can be rooted and grounded, like and anchored where I haven't before. That's what it feels like to me now, my journey to my treehouse.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
Okay, great. So breathe and just take this all in. I mean, I feel like we answered that. What is the deeper meaning of this? Yeah, so I just really want to support you. Go towards this woman, go towards this aspect, go towards, you know, and I don't know if you've ever, I mean, I'm sort of smiling because I'm like, what I know of you, I'm like, surely she's done this already. But I'm like, you know, if you want to go towards like the 23andMe, like like I just feel like lineage, whatever you can find out, where, I know you've got like roots to the South. I don't know if you know before that, like where you came from originally. I just really want to support you to go back.
Yeah, no, what's very interesting about that is that I have always been into the genealogy of my family and finding my family history. My family history is unbelievable. You know, with some of the stories that have been orally passed down through our experience, and it's really remarkable. It's remarkable, and I have found that yes, you know, in terms of my African lineage, we do trace back to the Yoruban tribe in Nigeria. So absolutely, and they're very powerful. It's a very powerful tribe, and I'm still learning more about it. But absolutely, you are right on the nose.
Yeah, so go towards that. I also am hearing you might want to like, I don't know, something about writing stuff down, like writing stuff about your, because there's just something so sacred for you around reconnecting to lineage. And there's just something about like the ways in which you felt abandoned by family of origin, um, finding that connection to lineage and healing something, because
Mhm.
as I'm sure
Yep.
you know, your family members are dealing with their own stuff. And I'm also hearing the Italian side too. Like there's that side too. It's like it's all here, right? Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else you need to say in this moment?
No.
Does that question kind of feel complete?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to just drop into it one more time to see if there are any threads. What is the deeper? Yeah, no. I just saw that woman again. She's like, I'm here. Okay, great. So, and I want to say, Arissa, and for everyone watching this, it's like, it's also just such a great example of, we never know what this stuff holds for us. So, and I want to say there still might be feelings connected to the miscarriage process, like, the grief and the loss, but also look at the opening that's here, so it's like, look at, obviously something in you wasn't going to push this away forever because you set this up, right? You manifested this, but in pushing it away, you were pushing away something so deep. And so that's kind of what I mean when I talk about the invitation of our lives. It's like, no, there's actually something so powerful here. There's the blood sacrifice, which is literally your name. It's in your name. On your birthday. Look at how the universe supports you, Arissa, actually.
Yeah.
Look at how the universe supports you. So much synchronicity, so much magic. And, I feel like I've probably said this to you before back in the day, but I'm going to say it again now. If you can manifest everything you've manifested, being in go, go, go mode and sort of pulling, like holding something back from full surrender, imagine what the F you're going to do when you're connected to this woman and you're creating space for the depth of your experience and you're saying to God, you know what, whatever, you throw it at me. All right. Is there anything you need to say in this moment?
No, just thank you.
So we may have already answered the third question. I'll bring it in just in case, but you know, how do I find closure? Yeah, I mean, do you feel like this has been answered?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I'll just see if I hear anything else just to cap it off. How do I find? Yeah, I'm just hearing you're doing it. This is it. This is it. You know, take all this seriously. Rewatch this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like something is lightened to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. All right, well, let me ask you, Arissa, is there anything, I'll sort of drop in one last time just to see if there's any kind of little threads that want to come through, but is there anything that you need to kind of say or get clarity on, or anything that feels unfinished to you connected to all this? Oh, you just went quiet.
Okay. How about
Oh, there
now?
you are. Yeah, I can hear you. What did you say?
No, I was just making sure that the sound was okay on your end.
Yeah, but were you saying something before that?
No.
Oh, okay. All right, let me just kind of see if there's any last threads. Yeah, I'm just hearing messages from your guides. We're here, we're waiting. Welcome. He's right.
Yeah.
I also just feel so much love on the other side, like an experience of love, like your own experience of like your heart. Yeah.
Okay, I just felt very loved in this moment.
Mm. So take that in. Yeah.
I just felt like a group hug, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like almost like, you know, we've been here this whole time.
That exactly. I was literally hearing that for you. I was gonna say that, like they've been here the whole time.
Uh-huh.
And it's fine. Like I want to say to you, it's fine that you pushed it. Like it's fine. You were doing what you had to do.
Yeah.
That little girl was surviving. So just take it in, because you know, I know she didn't have a deep experience of feeling loved.
Uh-huh.
All right, great. So what I'll do is I'll bring the session or the reading portion to a close. So what I like to do is I tone once from my heart center, and that's just to facilitate the motion of energy that we've initiated. And then we can shift into opening this up for the group. So if everyone wants to close their eyes, if you're ready, willing, available. I